the 100th season finale, We Are Grounders Part 2. This is a great episode, and for anyone who plays the Fallout franchise, it kind of goes right along with the opening to every single one of those games. And it starts off by saying that war never changes. And this episode clearly showed that war doesn't. You fight until you die. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And this is a great episode showing that pretty much everybody lost. I mean, in the end, the 100 survived, but there were losses. There were people who we might lose in the next season because we really don't know what happened with Raven. Who knows if they had enough time to save her too. And we don't technically know if Finn and Bellamy died. I would have to assume that they did, because this normally isn't the type of show where it's like, oh, they actually made it, except for in Clark's mother's case. But they could have survived. They could have possibly gotten away. They could have been taken away. I don't see that really happening. I believe that Finn and Bellamy were killed, unfortunately. I like both their characters. And with the two of them gone, it really sucks. It takes two huge chunks out of the show if they're actually dead. But we'll have to wait and see. But this was a great, great season finale. There was just loss all around. For the most part, you actually gave a crap because we lost the Chancellor in this episode because he sacrificed himself to let everyone on the Ark go down. We lost a lot of random people that we don't know on the Ark for from some of the different components blowing up in the atmosphere. But of course, Clark's mother survived. The second in command guy, he lived, as well as the scientist who actually got them all down to Earth. So all three of them are still alive. So fortunately, we didn't lose too many people. We only lost one guy from the Ark storyline, and now both those storylines are going to combine together. And it might take some time with the ending that we received. And it was a very well done ending, and all I can really say about it is that they finally made it to Fort Weather, or Mount Weather. And it's not what they thought it was going to be. It wasn't just rations and food that they needed to get to. It was more than they could have possibly imagined. And I cannot wait until season 2 starts up because it's going to be good. This was a great season finale. They captured the one woman from the Grounder team, so they have her, as well as the Mountain Men. They now have her as well, so they'll probably get information out of her. We're going to get information out of these people who have this technology, and now of course we find out why we don't get to see Monty. It's because he was actually captured, so he was in quarantine, because the Mountain Men, who are just people with laser guns and knockout gas and all sorts of technology and cameras and all this stuff, they're the ones doing all this, and they just capture who they need to capture, and they quarantine whoever they think they need to, because they don't really know what's going on. Maybe they still think there's a ton of radiation or something, I don't know. And it makes a lot of sense now why, when we first got to see that picture of them in Lincoln's book, it was a weird face. It was sort of creepy because there were no facial details. It's because they were gas masks, because that's how they attack. They knock people out so that they don't have to take any chances from getting hit with a spear or getting like a blade thrown and jabbed into their face like in this episode. But it was insane to see that. It was cool that it didn't end on the fade to white screen. We actually got to see what happened, where they ended up at. There were a ton of blood bags under that sign that said Mount Weather quarantine zone, or quarantine ward, whatever it said. There were a bunch of bags and vials, so I have to assume that that's from them doing experiments on the people, doing blood tests so that they can see if they carry diseases or anything like that. So I'm really excited for season 2. It was a great season finale. Lincoln and Octavia are off on their own now. We got to see not only a war between the Grounders and the 100, we got to see a war between the... It's hard to even classify these people now, because it's like the normal Grounders, then we have the Reapers, then we find out who the Mountain Men are, who isn't just another faction. They're just people who have technology like we have right now. So it constantly, like, all these different factions constantly bring up more and more questions. And now that we get to see who the Mountain Men are, we see that they have technology. That's why Monty was just so blown away. They have a huge facility. They have Mount Weather, and they're probably just inside the mountain. They probably have a facility all throughout that mountain, and it just brings up so many questions. How long have they been there? Are these people that survived the nuclear fallout? Are these descendants of people that just went there? Was this like a secret bunker base that was just like this because they knew what was going down? So some rich people and some scientists made a place, and that's what it is. It brings up so many questions, but I can't wait to get the answers because this is a great show. I just don't know how it's gonna go in season two. I feel like they're gonna be trapped for a long time, and it'll be interesting to see how the I guess the new grounders, who the people from the ark, how they survive and who ends up becoming I guess main actors out of the new set of grounders. Because of course we have our three people who are of course important throughout this season, but they can't be the only three people. So I feel like they're gonna either have people who are with them right now, or they're gonna find some of the other ships, and some people in those ships are gonna end up becoming prominent characters in the series. But it was a great season finale. A lot of questions come up. What's happening with Lincoln and Octavia? Of course, we got to see the war between the Reapers and the other Grounders. It seemed like I guess the Reapers lost. There weren't as many of them, but we got them fighting. We don't officially know if Finn and Bellamy died. I would have to assume they did, like I said, because this show just isn't the type of show to wear kid gloves on you. If you think they're dead, they're probably gone. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. We have to wait and see what happens with Raven. She probably ended up being saved, but considering they quarantine people, who really knows? But Clark also did have like an IV drip in her, which is basically for when you're knocked out, it basically keeps your body going. So they probably did help Raven. She's probably perfectly fine, but just in quarantine as well. But it was a great season finale. Of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it. Did you like the season finale? Did you hate the season finale? Are you excited for season two? What do you want to see in season two more than anything else? I think for pretty much everyone watching the show, it has to be, who are the Mountain Men? Exactly what are the details outside of they have this facility and they have guns with lasers on them and knockout gas grenades. But comment below, let me know what you guys think. Favorite parts, least favorite parts. What do you think of the season as a whole, and what do you guys want from this series when it comes back on in the fall? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.